Kevin was sent by his supervisor to assist in identifying and clearing snake pits in the Amazon jungle. Even though he was accustomed to snakes, there was something sinister about the well he discovered here. He was certain that today would not be like any other weekday. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. This was verified when he attempted to descend, and the snakes grew more hostile. Since going to the bottom straight immediately would likely result in extremely unpleasant injuries, Kevin made the decision to hold off. He decided to take his time instead. He wanted to find out what the snakes were guarding. The fact that Kevin had previously heard of a local tale caught his attention, but he immediately brushed it off. He asked for assistance since they needed to anesthetize the snakes to get there. Kevin was assisted down the well by the prompt arrival of the backup. His colleagues provided him with some protective gear, and they were able to tame the majority of the snakes with shock arrows. Everyone was in awe when Kevin arrived at last. How can this be? However, what had Kevin discovered in the snake pit's bottom? Why did everyone find what they had seen so shocking? For several months, Kevin had been looking for snake pits in the Amazon. It hadn't been easy, but he and his colleagues had put forth a lot of effort to ensure that everyone was secure in the jungle. Finding every hole had been a laborious and long procedure. Some of them were quite well concealed, and it was made much more challenging by the absence of roads and the ongoing threats posed by the jungle. They were much behind schedule. The business was also facing threats from some of the residents. They sought to preserve the pits and worshipped the snakes. But they were forced to carry on as the government had hired Kevin's firm. Kevin was aware that there was no more way to slow things down. They were given a deadline by the authorities, complete by the end of the month, or else nobody would get paid. Kevin made the decision to leave his colleagues and search for the snake pits alone, since he was determined to achieve the deadline. In the end, this proved to be the most significant error of his life. As Kevin cleared a passage, he leaped back abruptly. He had been frightened by something he had seen in the bushes. He was afraid, but he knew he had to continue without a solid strategy or backup. It was risky as hell. He saw a massive anaconda, the largest one he had ever seen, and not just any ancient one. It moved toward Kevin slowly. Although Kevin's immediate inclination was to flee, he could anticipate where he ended up, in the middle of an indigenous area. Tribes that had never seen a European or interacted with the outside world still resided here. It was clear that Kevin was an adversary to these snake worshippers. He carefully made his way back through the area. He stumbled over an altar at that very time. Something was behind it, and it was a serpent's altar. He was terrified to see the biggest snake hole he had ever seen as he circled the altar. He noticed huge snakes when he peered into the snake pit. Down there, they were obviously guarding something. Kevin found the strength to at least try to find out by going into the snake pit. It was not his best idea. He heard noises coming from the jungle as he was getting ready to descend. Kevin carried out his plan since he believed he was dreaming. But as soon as he attempted to cross the line, he passed out and felt lightheaded. Upon opening his eyes, Kevin realized that he had been sedated. A dart had struck him right before he attempted to descend. Now the tribesmen had captured him. He was put close to the snake pit in a cage. How would he fare? Kevin understood that they most likely intended to offer him as a sacrifice to the snakes. This ceremony appeared to be scheduled for that evening. Kevin needed to confirm that he could get away and call for help. He required his rucksack, which had a flare pistol that would undoubtedly aid him in calling for assistance. Luckily, his cage was immediately close to the backpack. Then he snatched up the flare pistol and shot it. Knowing that this would lead to issues they didn't want to deal with, the indigenous fled at that very moment. Backup showed up promptly. Kevin's coworkers assisted the soldiers in removing him from the cage. In order to clean the snake pit, they promptly shut off the area. The Indians adored something down there, Kevin informed them. When the snakes were removed from the center, an unexpected discovery was made. In the center was a big serpent with a large hump. They had to discover what was within. A veterinarian was sent to help. Her hunch that the bulge was something the snake had consumed but was unable to digest was verified by the veterinarian when she arrived. The veterinarian performed an incision along the bulge and anesthetized the snake with extreme care and accuracy. Everyone can now see where the bulge came from after it passed through the esophagus, muscle, and skin. It's not what they anticipated, though. The veterinarian discovered a tiny plastic box that confused her at first, but the staff recognized it right away and understood what was going on. Additionally, the staff realized that this was bad news for the snake. They kept perishables like meat in the box, which served as their cooler. But this specific cooler's meat had gone bad, and it smelled terrible, so they didn't put it in the truck. Since they thought they had kept the cooler carefully, they were unable to determine how the snake had discovered it. The cooler must have smelled good enough for the snake to mistake it for food and consume it whole. Sadly, it soon discovered the repercussions of this error, which would have been lethal. The veterinarian swiftly started to reconnect the tissue after taking out the chiller. She chipped the snake in the process to keep tabs on its long-term life and follow its travels. After the procedure was over, they were ready to awaken the snake in the hopes that it wouldn't become hostile. The repatriation of the snake took many minutes. It was stunned and disoriented at first, but eventually it started to move away, much more quickly than it had before the procedure. The veterinarian had one more task to complete when the snake was securely back in the forest. She expressed her gratitude to the staff for their amazing efforts to keep the snake and herself safe. She then went back to the city, where she found more people in need of her treatment. The veterinarian used the chip she had inserted to track the snake's activity to make sure it was doing well. The veterinarian could declare with confidence that the procedure was successful because the snake was acting entirely properly. The animal's life had been saved by her. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.